Step 3. Choose your mood. While you may not be able to choose what does or doesn't happen in your day, you do get to decide how you're going to experience it. So decide that today is going to be a good day, and then do what you can to make it your reality. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to create a new mindset that not only sets you up to have a good day every day, it helps you to turn things around when you need to and make sure that you don't let anyone or anything take your good mood away. Not that long ago, I was walking back from my local convenience store when a ruckus on the street caught my attention. I heard this woman cursing and ranting as if her world had just fallen in. "I can't believe it, for bleep's sake," she didn't say bleep. "Why has this always happened to me?" On and on she went, her anger escalating with each outburst. Given her passion and fury, I would have been forgiven for thinking that a major catastrophe had befallen her, except that it hadn't. She'd received a parking ticket. Now, of course, as anyone who has ever had a parking ticket will know, getting one is very annoying. It's a big waste of money for something that, with a little bit more care or attention, could have been prevented. But it's not a catastrophe. There was nothing about this woman's expensive blow-dry and European car that gave me the impression that paying her parking fine was going to mean that she no longer had enough money to feed her children. After snatching her ticket off the windscreen, she got into her car and accelerated away, aggressively honking her horn at someone who was crossing the street a little too slow. I looked on in amazement at this carry-on and wondered how long it would take for her day to recover. Would she be over it in a few minutes, or would she still be angry at lunchtime? Would she be ranting about it over dinner that night? Would she allow this experience to poison her entire day? I had no idea, and I really didn't want to know. And while her behaviour startled me, it didn't really surprise me. And it probably shouldn't surprise you either. Although you might never have thrown a public tantrum over a parking ticket, if you're like most people, you probably have reacted to a negative experience or interaction and then allowed that reaction to overwhelm or consume you for the rest of the day. One of the most important mindset decisions you will ever make is the decision to be an optimistic person. When you choose to be an optimist, you are hopeful and confident about the future. You see the best possible outcome as being the most likely one. As an optimist, you assume that things are going to go well. Being optimistic doesn't mean you need to be blindly positive or that you can't see the risks or downsides of any given situation. It just means that although you might consider a situation from all angles, you direct your energy, attention, and efforts towards the best possible outcome. When you choose to be optimistic, it also means that you are choosing not to be a worrier. You do not need to expend energy or waste your good mood on worrying about things that haven't happened and, for that matter, might never happen. As an optimist, when you feel your worries bubbling to the surface, you are able to be objective about them. With a clear and calm head, you are able to evaluate if you are worried about something you can do something about, or if your worries are a risk you have no control over at all. If you can do something about it, you can shift your energy and attention towards taking action. And if you can't, you can take a deep breath and accept the risks at hand. Being an optimist isn't just about seeing your glass as half full, not half empty. It's about looking at whatever is inside your glass and expecting it not to spill. Once you've made the mindset shift to be an optimist and expect things to turn out well, the next step is to adopt a positive perspective. Again, this is not about being blindly positive and never seeing the flip side or downside of a given situation. It's about choosing how you want to see and experience the things that are going on in your life. This is where the glass half full, not half empty part comes in. The lady I told you about at the start of this episode chose to see her parking ticket as a disaster and allowed it to ruin, if not her whole day, then certainly a decent chunk of her morning. In that moment, she had a choice. She could have seen it as a nuisance, an inconvenience, or an embarrassment. Or she could have seen it as a lucky escape, knowing that her car could have been towed away for being parked where it was, and what had happened instead was far less expensive and inconvenient than collecting her car from the pound. When you adopt a positive perspective, you are making a conscious choice about how you want to see the things that are happening in your life, and you're choosing to see them in the best possible light. The third change I want you to make is to train your memory to hold on to the good parts and archive the rest. When something doesn't go your way or someone lets you down, it's easy to keep dredging it up and to waste your energy churning and burning over the details. But the past is in the past, and rehashing it will only bring the pain or discomfort of it into the present. When my children try to remind me of some crosswords we've had or of a time they were in strife over something or another, my first response is always, I have no idea. I don't hold on to unpleasant memories. Eventually, I remember some or all of the details, whatever the occurrence was, but they're not close to the surface and almost always require some digging through my memory before it can be recalled with any clarity. For me, this is not just the case for the little things that go on in my day-to-day life. Larger, more significant upsets are filed deep in my memory archives, only to be accessed if or when I want to bring them up. Before you start worrying about my memory, I want to be really clear that this isn't an accident, and it's not age-related. It's not that I forget negative experiences the minute they've happened. I don't. But I do take everything I can from the experience, wisdom, insights, lessons learned the hard way, then make a conscious decision to just let it go. I don't bring it up over and over. I don't hash through the details as if by remembering them precisely I could change the specifics of them, and I definitely don't agonize over what might have been. It is what it is. I remind myself of that, and then I let it fade from view. Once you've changed the way you think about the past, you can shift your focus to the present. One of the first things you need to do if you want to have a good day, every day, is to decide to have a good day. If that sounds incredibly simple, it's because it really doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. When you wake up each morning, remind yourself that today is a good to be alive day, simply because you are. Then, before you get out of bed, set a clear intention for your day. Consciously decide how you want to experience your day, how you would like it to unfold, how you would like to feel, and what you'd like to be able to say about it when you get back into bed that night. Once you know how you would like to feel, you can then make choices throughout the day that give you the best chance of making those feelings real. When hiccups and challenges present themselves, as they invariably will, remind yourself of the intention you set and reconnect with that decision. You can then consciously choose your reactions and responses, knowing how you want to feel about your day and the feelings you will need to create or protect to maintain it. At the end of each day, look back over it and recap, review, and reflect. Think about how your day unfolded, what went well and what didn't go so well, and what you would like to do differently tomorrow. This isn't a last-minute chance to criticize yourself or beat yourself up before the lights go off. It's an important part of being able to be more mindful about how you're living your life and the choices you're making throughout your day. As you complete your recap of your day, if you want to really give your mood one last boost, ask yourself these two questions. What gave me joy today? And what am I grateful for today? Expressing your gratitude and consciously identifying sources of joy not only feels good and gives your mood a boost in the moment, it also trains your mind to make maintaining an optimistic mindset and choosing a positive perspective something that comes much more naturally to you. The next thing I want you to do is to take ownership of your experience. Nobody has the power to ruin your mood, or for that matter your entire day, unless you let them. Nobody can make you feel bad without your permission. So whenever something goes wrong, or someone says or does something wrong, pause for a moment before you react. Ask yourself, how do I want this situation to impact me? And then consciously choose your reaction based on your answer. While you can't control what will or won't happen during your day, you do get to decide how you want to experience it. You can let people bump you off course, feeling like a victim of the circumstance of your day and the people in it, or you can stay focused on the intentions you set when you started your day and choose only to engage in thoughts and feelings that support them. There are so many different things that can go wrong or get your back up on any given day, but they really don't have to. If someone upsets you or says the wrong thing to you, decide how you want to experience it. Remember that unkind or hurtful words are rarely about you and almost always about how the person saying them is feeling about themselves. When someone makes a mistake or lets you down, instead of raging against the injustice of it all, remind yourself that most people are doing their best most of the time. They probably weren't trying to ruin your day. It's just that their best wasn't quite up to scratch this time. Instead of doubling down on the negativity you've experienced, try to find forgiveness and compassion. They're obviously feeling pretty miserable if they need to take it out on you. And if you're not quite up to forgiveness and compassion in that moment, then disengage from their comments and consciously choose not to actively engage in the hurt or frustration you're experiencing. This is not about bottling up your feelings or stuffing them down. But remember the architecture of change from episode 1? It's your thoughts that control your feelings, not the other way around. So this is about consciously generating new feelings by choosing how you want to think about the situation you're experiencing. It's not always possible to stop a situation from feeling hurtful or making you angry. But even though your feelings might be unpleasant or uncomfortable, you still get to decide how much influence you would like them to have over you. Your happiness is your responsibility, so I want you to make sure that you really commit to it. It is no one else's job to make you happy, and even if they try, they'll never succeed if you're not already feeling happy within yourself. As I wrote in my book, The Happiness Code, happiness begins with a choice. The minute you make the decision to be happy, you instantly become happier. Your perspective shifts, and you start to see your world from the vantage point of someone who is happy. Of course, choosing to be happy isn't the only thing you need to do, but unless you make the conscious decision to be happy, all your other efforts could be wasted. Being happy isn't something you become one day, or something that you get when you cross enough things off your life's to-do list. You don't decide, being happy, I think I'll give that a try next Tuesday. True happiness is a way of life. It's a commitment. A big part of that commitment is making sure you don't undermine or compromise it. This means making conscious choices to support your happiness, not just about the things you do, but the thoughts you have and the feelings they generate. The last mindset shift you need to make if you want to choose your mood is to decide how you want to feel about your life. One of the most common misunderstandings people have about life is that it's something that happens to you. You're born, various experiences happen to you, and then, hopefully at a ripe old age, you die. But that's not quite how it works. I believe life is what you do with the various things that happen to you, that life is what you make of it. We all know a story about someone who had everything but was never really happy, who squandered their good fortune or let their advantages go to waste. And I am constantly being uplifted by stories of people who have overcome every disadvantage to rise up and shine and have achieved extraordinary things in their lives. For most of us, the truth of our experience will be somewhere in between. Every well-lived life has ups and downs, highs and lows, victories and heartbreak, good days and bad. I've had mine, and I'm sure you've had yours. Making conscious choices about how you experience things means that you are the one who is in charge of how you feel about your life. I spoke with Ashley, an executive assistant in her mid-40s, for our coaching session on Step 3, Choose Your Mood. I asked Ashley what her biggest insight was from this step, and here's what she had to say.
I often let my frustration in certain situations get the better of me and ruin my day. I realize this now. And I've also realized how this can have a really significant impact on my life. So obviously I really like this step because I needed it. When you say I need to choose to be happy, it was like a light bulb moment for me. I'm always wishing I was happy or happier. I just wanted to feel happier more often, you know? So, step 3 helped me realize I need to actually choose happiness. I need to find those actions that enable me to take a step back. If I start to get negative or start allowing others to control my feelings, I need to take a deep breath. Not let frustration get the better of me or reclaim my happiness. It's amazing how just by setting the intention with myself, I can accept the situation for what it is and choose to let go. I can continue with my plan to be and remain positive, energetic and calm. Crappy things will happen from time to time, but life will still be okay. I can choose to be happy as my natural default to help me face whatever life throws my way. Actually, it's funny you shared the parking ticket story, because today was a day when I really needed to choose my mood. I was running for a train last night on my way home from work, wearing some very high heels, and I took a huge tumble. Not only did I miss the train, but I sprained my ankle. When it happened, I could feel my mood shifting, and today I can't walk or do the things I needed to do, and I had a busy day planned. I could have chosen to be stroppy or cross, because there's so many things I want to do, and I was totally embarrassed by falling over in public. But I've chosen to be happy and lay on my couch and have people fetch me things. I've truly chosen to hold on to the good and let go of the bad, and I'm happy.
Before we move on, let's recap the most important lessons from this episode. 1. Choose to be optimistic. Always be hopeful and confident about your future. 2. Adopt a positive perspective and see your life in the best possible light. 3. Train your memory to hold on to the good parts and archive the rest. 4. Decide today is going to be a good day and do what you can to make that intention your reality. 5. Consciously choose thoughts that generate the feelings you want and need to have. 6. Know that your happiness is your responsibility. Commit to it and take that commitment seriously. And lastly, 7. Remember, you can't choose what happens in your life, but you do get to decide how you want to feel about it. In the next episode, Step 4, Ignore the Voices, I'm going to show you how to stop worrying about what everyone else says or thinks about you and your life, so you can focus your energy on making sure you make the most of it. Step 4. Ignore the voices.